Welcome back into Rounding Third Baseball, episode 287. Are the Pirates going to be, dare I say, relevant? I'm Nick, and we have Harrison tonight. How are we doing tonight, Harrison?
That's a very provocative question to start the night with, Nick. So I can't wait to get into this. But I am great. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm still recovering from the flu last week. I can't hear anything out of my left side at all. It just sounds like everybody's underwater. But otherwise than that, I'm here to talk ball, so I'm excited.
Yeah,
So,
it is really hard to have to carry a co-host who's sick or maybe not around for a little while. So I've been happy to carry the ball here since
yeah.
you've been down.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I only owe you like 10 more shows like that.
Yeah, it was only like 2 months straight. No biggie. But all right, before we get going, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsors, Logitech, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on our link trees at the top of our socials. If you do any shopping for these products, please use our links as we get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. Just a great way to support the show. We also have Rounding Third merch. We have sweatshirts, t-shirts, tumblers, phone cases, a whole bunch of stuff. Check us out there. Just another great way to support us and to get our name out there. And finally, on Patreon, we had our first exclusive trivia night on Patreon Friday. It was a huge success. Harrison and I are going to do some tweaking to that, and we're thinking about making it like a monthly like trivia league, kind of like we played around with a little bit this summer. But would like to kind of make that a trivia league. So if you're interested, you can join us for free over on Patreon, or you can also be a paid subscribe member, which only helps us get only the finest content out to you. So check us out, Rounding Third Baseball on Patreon. All right, let's hop right into it. Jeff McNeil traded to the A's, becomes the old veteran in the A's clubhouse. Is this a smart move for the A's to add a former batting champion, or is this the Mets just dumping guys, or is this both?
I feel like there's a lot to unpack with this McNeil move because I honestly did not see them trading McNeil. I thought he'd be one of the kind of stabilizers they'd hang on to. But I think Stearns has it in his mind where they've already started to turn this thing over. Let's just go and turn over more of it and rebuild this thing in the way that they want to. So I do think there's a level of the Mets like, hey, you know, McNeil's a weird, kind of a weird fit. I shouldn't say weird guy, but he's kind of a weird fit. He's got an interesting personality, an interesting play style. Former batting champ, good player. Mets fans never seem to really love him. I don't think his teammates necessarily really loved him. He is a veteran presence that I think helps the A's.
Right on cue. Thank God.
Yeah.
I won't miss McNeil.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I just don't think he ever fit. The fans never really loved him. Teammates seemed kind of indifferent to him. He's had some moments with teammates that weren't great. So I don't know what to make of it, but I do think there's a little bit of the Mets dumping him off. And I think a little bit of the A's identifying that as a need. Don't forget, they tried to bring Ha-Seong Kim in, offered him a 4-year deal. He said, no, thanks. Ended up going to Atlanta. You know, McNeil's not a bad secondary option. I just worry about how he fits with that young team.
Yeah. I mean, the A's are, as young as they are, these kids are still trying to figure it out on the MLB level, right? We're going to see it. Does Kurtz hit a sophomore slump? Does Wilson hit a sophomore slump? Because we've seen once the league makes an adjustment to these young kids, we find out real quick which young kids are legit because they can flip the script again quickly, right? We saw that with Corbin Carroll at the beginning of his sophomore year. It was rough going, right? Until he figured it out. He found that hole, he figured it out, and he was good to go. Jeff McNeil, I think he's a former batting champion, like I said here. So
yeah.
I think he can help those kids become better hitters, and which is scary because those A's kids can flat out mash already. And if you add somebody that knows how to hit at the big league level, I think it's a great ad for the A's. To flip over to the Mets real quick, Flat Cheese says we should have sent Stearns too. I mean, hilarious. It's funny.
Maybe.
The Mets are a mess, man. I don't know what direction they're going, and what is the catalyst? Is it Juan Soto? Is it the the butting of heads that we're hearing about, and they're kind of strapped now because, like I said last show, you're not going to move your $1 billion guy. You're kind of stuck, kind of moving everybody else. So I just, weird. I don't know. It's weird, but I don't hate this for the A's.
No, I don't. I mean, and so Jeff McNeil in 2022 on the batting title hit 326, had a great year. He's been about a 250-ish hitter since, which is kind of what he was. He was that in 2021. His career batting average is 284. He's had a few 300 seasons. A good hitter, but his numbers took a pretty steep decline the last couple of years. I do think there's something to the Mets rebuilding right now around what I think Soto likes or wants. There were rumors of there being some personality issues within the club. Maybe this was one of them. But I mean, the Mets are basically stripping out all the, what I would call the quote unquote core guys over the last few years, stripping them all out and basically starting fresh, which maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. But until the Mets start signing some replacements, we have no idea what to make of this. There is a mass exodus from Queens, and we're not seeing the replacements for them. And I don't know what is the team going to look like on opening day. I haven't a clue, because on one hand they're saying they don't really want to sign anybody. On the other hand, letting everybody go. They're making trades. I mean, I feel like they're kind of like the Red Sox in the sense of, like, we don't like what's on the market, so we're going to try to find other solutions. But what are those solutions?
Yeah. JMB, the A's are on my radar to watch next year.
Oh, for sure.
And they were this year. I watched a ton of A's, and you think they could be over 500. Now, I think they can hit their team over 500 this year. I agree. The pitching's going to be tough, right? Severino's lights out on the road. It is really, really hard to pitch in that Sacramento ballpark. It is a homer dome, which helps their offense, but does not help the defensive side of the ball whatsoever. But if they hit like they did last year, they are going to outslug some teams in the AL for sure.
Yeah. Well, an interesting, so Armin, welcome, another Mets fan. Flat Sheets, be so happy to have another Mets fan in the chat. Interesting because McNeil has moved all over the place. He's played left field, right field, second base. I mean, he's played all over the place. And that's happened more so the last couple of years. And I don't know if the moving around has affected his focus at the plate, because when they started moving him around more, his batting average dropped like 70 points instantly.
Yeah.
And he seems lost out there at times. And I don't know if there's like an attitude thing with him. I don't know if there's if it's just not a fit. If maybe what you're saying is right, and they kind of changed the purpose for him, and it just doesn't work. But this is the weirdest offseason I can recall from a big market team, where it's just a mass exodus and we're all just waiting for something to happen, but it doesn't seem like anything's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, two key guys, Armand says, I expected Alonso to be gone after this past season, no matter what. I was surprised losing Diaz. I mean, I was kind of shocked with both, to be honest, right? You have Soto, you have Lindor, one of the best, if not the best shortstop in the league. Like, why wouldn't you want to keep a 50 and 100 guy in your lineup with Pete Alonso? And then have an elite closer at the back end of your bullpen. Something else has to be happening there for those two guys to just be like, first offer, yeah, thanks, I got it, thank you, bye. And to not come back to the Mets.
Well, and especially Diaz. I kind of agree with you, Armin. Like I said, I thought Pete Alonso ended up back with the Mets because at the end of the day, they're going to drag it on forever and realize that there's not a better option. They need each other. Diaz, I thought, would leave, but I didn't think the Mets would be as aggressive with him as they were. I mean, they were within $3 million of the Dodgers, same length of contract. They were at 3 and 66. Dodgers were at 3 and 69. He never even called the Mets back. The Mets likely would have matched or even beaten that. He never even called him back. He just said, done, signed. It says something when a guy like that doesn't even make that call back to be like, hey, this is where I'm at. Like, what do you guys think? He just said, I'm out.
I
and
also
signed.
I also think if it's anyone but the Dodgers, he goes back. I
I mean,
mean,
maybe it's just it's the draw of the ring.
it's the Dodgers, dude. I mean, right? I mean, if they offer you more money to go to their team, like, yeah, I'm gonna go. You're gonna pay me more, and I have a shot at a ring. Absolutely, gone. See ya.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I just it's crazy. I'm excited about this A's team. I really am. You know, we've been on this show many times, loving seeing these lower market teams or the teams that haven't been in it in a while,
Yep.
making strides to start creeping their way back to the top of the league. Um, the pitching is just the only issue for the A's, but I think we're going to see that tide start to change when Vegas creeps closer. I really do. I see the A's locking up. We're going to get to it in a little bit. They're going to start locking up these hitters now. And then when they're 2 years away, year and a half away from Vegas, you're going to really start to see them focus on the pitching staff. And we could be looking at quite a juggernaut going into Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, and then the Tyler Soderstrom contract was exactly that. It was the A's basically saying, yeah, like we're serious. We're going to come to Vegas as a train. Like we're gonna show up ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and here it is. Tyler Soderstrom signed 7-year, $86 million extension, which is a record deal for the Athletics. And this is the Athletics really gearing up for Vegas exactly as I thought they would, you know, given the circumstances that they have, right? Lock up the hitters when you have the chance, and then when Vegas gets closer, focus on the pitching. Because it's going to be hard to find free agent guys that want to go in there and jack their ERA up to 6 in Sacramento.
Yeah, pitching in a shoebox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think the A's lineup is good enough where it's going to be able to out hit its pitching a lot of nights, but maybe not enough nights.
Right.
But honestly, like if you are a starter, and granted, pitching in Sacramento feels like you're pitching in Colorado the way the ball flies. But if you're looking at that lineup thinking, man, like maybe I want to go to Sacramento, realizing that I'll pitch half my game somewhere else too. But like to have that kind of lineup backing you up, whew,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be so bad.
No. Yeah, brother, I did just see this right before we
Yep.
came on. Zach Eflin did re-sign with the O's, so that's good news for the Orioles who need pitching for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a very smart move by the A's. This is a guy that came up as a catcher, got moved out because of Langoliers. He got pushed to first. Nick Kurtz comes up, he gets pushed to left, and the guy puts up a Gold Glove-ish season in left field for the A's. So it's like this guy is versatile enough that he's worth this extension, and he can hit. This guy can hit.
He can, and he can field, he can throw, he can hit, he can run. I mean, he can do a lot of things, and apparently defensive versatility is his thing because the poor guy, every time they thought he owned a position, he just got pushed out of it. But it's looking like a great move for him to go to left field. He was great out there, great for that team. This is a big deal with that. So with escalators, this deal can go all the way up to 131 million.
Dang.
It's a big investment by the A's, but they are for sure making the statement that they're going to be around, and they've got pretty much this entire core now tied up through 2030.
Yeah.
So they're going to show up in Vegas in 2028 with these guys all primed and ready to go. Bring a couple pitchers into the mix. This could be a really scary team in a year or two.
In an AL West that is kind of a mess, kind of all over the place. We don't really know how to evaluate any of the teams over there right now. I mean, yes, the Mariners are at the top, but have they done enough to stay there this offseason so far? I don't know if they have.
No, I mean they didn't have to do a lot.
Right.
They brought Naylor back. Third base is still open. Other than that, I mean, I think that team's pretty much ready to roll. I'd like to see them bring or add a bat to third base, but I think they're pretty much ready to roll.
Yeah. Captain, you ain't wrong here. Not a lot of players can say they can play the corners and catcher at MLB level. 1,000%.
Yep.
Crazy. Pretty cool. All right, let's switch over to the Pirates. We're going to talk about the Pirates. This is exciting.
I'm pretty sure last offseason, I don't think we brought the Pirates up once.
No, not once.
There's no reason to.
Nope. So Ryan O'Hearn, 2 years, $29 million extension. That's right. They signed a multi-year free agent deal. First time since 2016 with Ivan Nova. Are the Pirates going to be worth the watch this year? And now I know it's always worth the watch when Skeens is on the hill, right? It's must-see
Yeah.
TV. But are we going to be checking in on the Pirates as the season rolls around?
I mean, you look at the pitching staff that they already have. They had a good pitching staff last year. They had no offense. With the pitching staff they already had, and now adding a couple of bats, I think this team, they're worth watching more than once every 5 days. I don't think they're must-see TV like the A's can be some nights, but I think the Pirates are a team that is going to be worth. When you see them as an available game to watch, you're not going to be like, oh, no way. You're going to be like, you know what? Maybe I will watch that, because I do think they're going to be entertaining, and I do think they're going to be better.
And I don't think they're done. I think
No.
Sheridan is still trying to pull some strings there. He wants to get a couple more sticks in there. And Curtis, this is exactly it, right? They're trying, which is what we've been screaming for the last, it seems like, years.
Yep.
Just be like, just show us that you're trying to put a team out on the field. Just show us.
Yeah.
And it looks like they finally are. So I love it.
Yeah, and I think that the key is, like you said, let's see another move or two. Let's not stop here. Let's see another move or two. You've brought in Soto, Lau, O'Hearn, like you've made some improvements. You already had a good starting staff for the most part. Let's see another move or two. Like, prove to us that you're not trying to just do enough to make it look like you're still alive. And I think people will feel better about it.
Yeah, and Armin, I'm not saying that I'm expecting the Pirates to make the playoffs, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if this season starts going and they do exactly what you just say. You're laying out here is O'Hearn's a piece at the deadline. If that's the case, that's the case, because that's only going to bring in possibly more talent for the Pirates down the road to keep them moving forward. So I think all I'm saying is this is a step in the correct direction. Finally.
Yeah. This is the first time the Pirates have shown a sign of life in years. And that they're actually, Michael pokes the Pirates. Are you alive? That's how it's been the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Every offseason, I'm like, hey, are you guys still in the major leagues? Like, are you still a franchise? I mean, hell, last year we made fun of the Seattle Mariners for doing literally nothing all offseason, and Pirates right there with them. But the Pirates have so much history, and that is a fan base that is dying for a winner. It is just nice to finally see them do something. Now, if this season doesn't work out the way they hope, I could totally see them trade Lau and O'Hearn at the All-Star break or at the trade deadline for pieces. But at the same time, if they make another move or two, this is a team that could actually hang around.
Yeah.
And if I'm Ben Cherington, I'm thinking, well, maybe at a minimum, I'm going to bring some fans back and show the world we're going to build some momentum here. And maybe it's not this year, but we're gonna keep building forward, and hopefully, at some point, return to the playoffs.
Yeah, this is showing the league that, like, hey, we know we have the best pitcher of this generation on our team right now. This is showing him that, listen, we are going to try, but it's going to be a long process, right? We have to do these little moves first to be able to land that Kyle Schwarber contract, I should say. You're not going to land Kyle Schwarber, obviously, but
they tried.
Right. But I feel like that shouldn't have been the first move they tried to make. Like, hey, we haven't done anything in 15 years. Let's offer Kyle Schwarber 10 years and $5 million, like $500 million. No, he's not going to come, right? You got to make all these little moves first to show the league that you are trying to make strides to be better and to make your team competitive. And then those free agents are going to be like, you know what? Like, this might be worth a shot. You got to make yourselves look a little bit better to draw in some free agents. Because as good as Paul Skeens is, he is not a big enough draw, as we've seen, to bring in top tier free agents.
Yeah, and I think the Pirates are doing this for a couple reasons. One, I think they're trying to show Paul Skeens, hey, look, we're going to try. We're not going to just waste you. So maybe that'll. I don't think anybody believes there's a world in which Paul Skeens signs an extension in Pittsburgh, but they're making a good faith effort to show that maybe he could stay. And I think B, knowing full well that they're going to get a haul of prospects for Skeens, they're building for what's next. You're starting to bring in some guys, shorter term contracts, go get some prospects when you dump Skeens inevitably in a year or so, and begin to look forward to what's coming, what's coming next.
Yeah.
And Armand, you're right. There's absolutely a component of this, which is they were going to get in some trouble if they didn't go spend some money.
Right.
And that is absolutely the case. Part of this is driven by the fact they needed to get that salary up to avoid getting into trouble. But I think part of this too is that they are beginning to build for what's next, with or without Paul Skeens.
Right. And Musicum, I don't disagree with this. They might finish last in the division, barring other teams get injured. I mean, they could. I mean, the Cardinals are rebuilding. We'll see what happens there in St. Louis. But the Pirates aren't going to leapfrog the Reds, the Brewers, and the Cubs. And they're not. Unless they just absolutely blow the socks off everybody this next month, which could happen. There's still some nice pieces out there to have. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
And the Pirates were, they had 71 wins this season with what was a disgusting offensive team, one of the worst in baseball. You make a few improvements. This is a team that could be 500 and potentially fighting with the Cardinals for last place at 500. But honestly, in that division, the Cincinnati Reds made the playoffs with 83 wins.
Right.
If you can get into the low 80s, you've got a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. And baseball's got enough parity that you never know from year to year what happens. Brewers could be hurt. Cubs could get hurt. I mean, it happens. We see some of these top tier teams get hurt, get injured, and they're done. And it makes room for these, middle tier teams to get in, to sneak into the playoffs. So, I mean, playoffs are still a few years away, I think, like I said, depending on what happens the next month. But I like the direction the Pirates are going finally.
I just like the fact that they've got a direction, like they're doing anything.
Yes.
Because again, with all the history that organization has, watching them just suck year after year after year and do nothing is so frustrating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Rob Refsnyder, the lefty killer. Red Sox fans are going to miss this guy because this is the ultimate professional. Shows up every third game against a lefty and just murders them. This is a nice piece for the Mariners. Is he going to change the outcome of the Mariners season? No, but you're not going to miss having him in the lineup. He doesn't take anything away from your team by adding him into this lineup. It's a great add.
Yeah, totally agree. When we did our underrated show, I said he was the most underrated guy for the Red Sox last year. He's a guy that gets very little praise and attention. He fills a very important role. He comes off the bench as a pinch hitter. He plays against lefties. He's played all over the field for the Red Sox. A guy that does a lot of important stuff that gets very little attention. And I think that he is a great piece for the Mariners. He kind of fills that Polanco role of, I can do a little bit of everything, and I can also hit, by the way.
Yeah, and I think he fits. Yes, he fits into that culture that the Mariners have going too.
He is. You watch the Clubhouse, that show on Netflix, the Red Sox, and Refsnyder was very much a vocal leader of that team. He was in the meetings, talking to the players, working with the coaches. Very much a guy who was in the middle of a lot of what they did, although he didn't play every day. But he's got a lot of experience, a true professional, a great communicator. And Alex Cora said, losing him hurts.
Yeah.
He's a really important piece of what they did. He and Alex Cora spent a lot of time together. And many times, Refsnyder would carry messages for Cora to the players. He was a very important guy to what the Red Sox were doing. And I think the Mariners are going to like having him.
Yeah. Yeah, M's bench was not very good last year. It's a good move. Swiss Army knife for sure, Michael. Yep. And then Curtis backs that up, jack of all trades. Yeah. I mean, and teams that have a couple of these guys that can do that can fill a role every third game and they don't miss a beat, that's when the team makes the leap from good to top tier, right? When all 25 guys on any given night can contribute. So I like this depth move for the Mariners for sure. And who knows, he could get a ton of playing time out there. So
Yeah. I
looking
mean,
forward to seeing him there.
somebody gets hurt, he's not a bad guy to be able to slot in every day because he's proven he can play every day. It's not necessarily the best role for him, but he can do it. I think he's going to be such a big help to that team, on the
Yes.
field, in the clubhouse, all those things.
Yep. Very great signing. All right. Pete Fairbanks heading to Miami. The only team to offer him a deal, or does he just like being in Florida? I feel like these back end of the bullpen guys are highly sought after around the league. Now, for him to sign in Miami, I thought was a little head scratching.
Yeah, a lot of the rumors were a lot of the teams were talking about, could he maybe be the eighth inning guy, not the ninth inning guy? And I think the general consensus from him was, "Oh, I really see myself as a closer." A lot of people thought he would go to the Mets as a compliment. That never really came to fruition. I think the Marlins gave him the best chance to come in, be the guy, and for 1 year prove that he's still got it, and then jump back out in the market and try again. He could also be a guy that stays there, but I think he was looking for the best opportunity to be a closer. The Marlins had it, and honestly, with what Miami's doing, I don't hate the move. I mean, the Marlins are, kind of on their way up, and he's not a bad piece to add to the back end of that bullpen.
Listen, you must have my copy of my Knicks mix for sure, Captain, because Miami was definitely on there by Will Smith. So 1,000%, it was definitely on the Knicks mix volume.
We all know Nick is a huge Will Smith
Well,
fan.
yeah, of course,
because of the World Series
exactly.
rings.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't mind this move for the Marlins either. In an NL East that might also be up in the air. If the Braves are healthy, yes, they are top of the echelon. We don't know what the heck the Mets are at this point. The Phillies were kind of, other than Christopher Sanchez, who's your constant there? Schwarber and Harper, maybe. Marlins could make a run here, which is crazy to think. But the NL East to me is, I got nothing on what my prediction is. I have to really think about that when we hit our prediction show because I don't know how that's going to iron out because I don't know if I trust the Braves staying healthy, which is tough for me to say, but the track record's there.
It totally is, and I think when you look at the Miami Marlins, all those young players, all those young pitchers. Not that Fairbanks is an old guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a veteran. He's been there. He's done that. He gives you some stability. I think it's a good move for the Marlins in that regard. I do think when you look across the league at some of these other teams, Mets, Yankees, all those teams that have come up. These are the kind of players I'm almost kind of surprised, especially like in New York, both the Yankees and the Mets, that they're not going after this guy or a guy like this who could play a variety of roles, could be there for a while, could be a guy that fits in for the long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami's not a toss. We totally agree. The Marlins are a team that is very much on the way up.
Yeah.
And could be dangerous.
Smart move by the Marlins, Curtis says. Yeah. Armin says, I believe teams are freezing out the current free agent market until February when spring training starts to get players on opt-out deals. Possibly. Yeah, I don't know. It's the Marlins are going to be interesting. I will be tuning into some games there for sure because they've got some pieces there. We saw Kyle Stowers break out this year, and he's fun to watch. So interesting move. It was just kind of a head scratcher for me, but it makes sense for sure. Marlins could finish second. They could.
They absolutely could.
So
This is a team that is yeah, as Captain said, not a toss away team. This is not a team that teams will take lightly. They're going to be good. They're going to be exciting. They're going to be very young, but they're going to be
yep.
exciting. And it's interesting. At one point back in the chat, Armin mentioned the Raynaud syndrome with a vascular issue where he gets the numbness. It's funny because most of the teams that we're talking to Fairbanks were northern
Hmm.
teams, and this issue never came up as something that was scaring teams off or concerning them. It sounded like for both the Mets and the Yankees, they were talking to him, and then they just kind of went quiet, and he just said, "Well, I'll go to Miami
Yeah.
then," and took off and did his own thing. I think yeah, and Curtis, I thought he would have been a great option in the Yankees bullpen. You know, maybe he wasn't going to be the closer, maybe that was important to him. But I thought for sure with the two New York teams would be fighting for a guy like
Yeah.
this.
And Armin, this is a great question. Who signs Amai with Friday being the deadline? I'm so out of touch with the Japanese market. I don't know. I mean, Murakami went to the White Sox. He would have been the 29th out of 30 teams I would have thought he would have gone to, and there he goes. Have you
Yeah.
had it? Do you know anything on Amai on where he could possibly go?
The latest I saw earlier today is he still has yet to receive a formal offer from any particular team. He's had a number of conversations, but there's been no actual movement towards signing him, kind of getting him under contract. The Yankees came out and said there's really not any contact between him and them. There's the belief there was some there. The Mets said this basically the same thing. Dodgers said basically the same thing. Angels have been chatting with him. There is a belief that the White Sox are talking to him because of the Murakami deal. That maybe they're trying to build their own version of Team Japan. But there's been not a lot of conversation about him, and it does not sound like there's anything solid.
Yeah.
So it'll be I'll be curious where he does sign because the clock is ticking,
Yeah.
and he's got to make a decision fast.
Yeah. Agree.
If there's even a decision to make.
Yeah.
And if nobody gives him an offer, then there's no decision to make.
All right, JJ Bleday pushed out by the A's. Youngins getting a shot to make an impact in Cincy. How do we like this? And then, well, I'm going to add this one too. The Reds also continue, and they get Dane Myers from the Marlins. So, how do we like this for the Reds getting these two outfielders?
I like Bleday. I thought he was going to be a big piece of what they did in Oakland. He had a pretty rough season last year, and I think the A's looked at it as well. You know, we got a bunch of young guys coming. You know, well, let's let you move on and find a new home, and we're gonna make our own moves. But I thought he was going to be a part of the A's for a little while. I think he's a great addition to the Reds. I think a chance for him to reset might be good. Dane Myers becomes a nice compliment, and I think you end up in a decent spot. It's just really funny that you ended up with two outfielders going to Cincinnati within like 24 hours of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Musicum, you take care, bud. Happy New Year to you, bud. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I think these two are platoon and depth moves for sure. I think Bleday sees the bulk of it just because you see more right-handed pitching, and then Myers will kind of play that late inning defensive replacement late in the game. I like it for the Reds. It's depth, and that's what they need. So I don't hate these moves at all.
Yeah, Dane Myers is not much of a bat. And depending on how you measure his defense, he's either an average or above average defender. But either way, high zone factor. He gets to a lot of baseballs. I think he's a great guy to have that can flex out there when you need him late in the game. A guy that can play every few days when you need him. And I really like Bleday to have a big season for the Reds. I think he fits in well with them. I think that ballpark is a great place to hit. And I think that Bleday getting a change of scenery might be good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and Armin, I honestly thought the Mets would have been taking a look at him as well. I mean, he would have been a nice piece to have.
Yeah, for sure. Michael Simpson gets the Moyer point. It's obviously him in the Red Sox jersey right there on the right. So Michael has the Moyer point. And we've got a close race for the Jamie Moyer. We got Mike Reed with 4, Michael Simpson with 3, my mom with 2, and Carl with a point. So keep your eye out for Jamie Moyer for your chance to win rounding third gear. And the competition stops first game of spring training. So still got a month and a half, which is crazy. About a month and a half, and we're back to baseball already. It's awesome.
Oh, thank
Yep.
goodness.
So
This part of the month of January is really hard.
yeah.
Like the holidays are over, there's no baseball. It's like, ugh, like what are we gonna do with ourselves with no baseball, no distractions?
So all right, let's kind of go over the latest free agency buzz here. Let's kind of just go all the way around and what's the latest we've heard. It's because it's been quiet. I get it. It's Christmas week. It's always quiet around this time usually. What's the latest on Alex Bregman? The Snakes keep popping up. The Mariners here and there. The Tigers somewhat. Red Sox seem to have almost shut that door. What is the latest on Alex Bregman that you've heard?
The latest I've heard on Bregman is that there are really 4 teams still considered to be in on him. It's the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Cubs, and the Diamondbacks. The Red Sox are understood to be taking a step back. The Blue Jays are kind of working Bregman and Bichette to figure out which one of those 2 guys they can get. They're determined to get one of them. The Diamondbacks are still trying to figure out what to do with Ketel Marte. And then I think the Cubs are just in there to see if there's a deal to be had. The Tigers have interest but have not engaged. And Bregman has shown no urgency to make a move. He basically said that I'm totally content sitting here through January and letting things figure it out before I make a decision. I do feel like Bregman is playing this as though he's got infinite options and like he's just going to pick which team he goes to. I don't think it's going to work quite that way for him because I think what he's asking for is still unrealistic. But at the same time, I don't think it's a bad idea for him to sit back and just kind of see what's happening so he picks a place where he can go in.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
But he's apparently looking for a 5 or 6 year deal. And I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to hand that out.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike says that Boris trying to get Bregman's market to gear up to get him 5 years. A team will pay him 5 years, right? Alonso got 5. Some team is going to pay him 5 years. He's just got to wait for somebody to do that. Like, how bad do you want him?
Exactly. And he's taking the approach of, I'm not in any hurry, and I'll let this play out as it does. I think the one thing working against him is coming off the season that he came off of. His second half after the injury was not very good. He did miss almost 50 games. Yeah. It's not a great season to use as a jumping off point.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he did perform well in the first half, not so much in the second.
Right. Yeah, he was on a tear when he was first in Boston, and that injury set him back bad. Yeah,
and he's 30. He's going to be 32 entering the year. So, here's a guy who's, in the tail end of his prime, still showing he can play. So I think you're still going to get elite level performance out of him for a few more years.
Yeah.
5 years is not the easiest thing to give out, but I don't think he's a huge risk that all of a sudden he's going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah. Kyle Tucker.
I've read nothing about Kyle Tucker lately. It has been radio silent. The last I saw, it was still the Blue Jays that were really kind of chasing him. The Yankees have re-engaged because they think that the Bellinger situation is not going to work itself out. That's all I've read about him. There's no other activity that I've seen.
I like Cody Bellinger, but if I have a chance to get Kyle Tucker in the Bronx, I'm going to do it. He would destroy that ballpark.
Yeah, totally agree. There's a rumor last week that the Red Sox had reached out to Kyle Tucker. I don't believe that. That makes no sense to go get another outfielder.
Yeah, what? We put him at second? I mean, where would we put him?
Yeah, so what are you going to do with him? But it sounds like it really still is. The Blue Jays are considered to be the leader to get him. The Yankees are still looking at him as a second option to Bellinger, but it sounds like Bellinger is not going to happen because he's willing to hold out as long as necessary to get the 7-year deal he wants.
Yeah.
And then there's rumors the Mets were getting involved. I don't think that ever really happened. The Cubs said right out of the gate they weren't going to get involved.
Yeah. John, there were a few wishful thinking posts by local Mariners podcast. Listen, if it takes local podcasters to do your bidding for your team to get a guy in there, then all
Yeah.
for it. But yeah, I think that's wishful thinking on the Mariners' part. Curtis is with us going to the Bronx, obviously, but you put Kyle Tucker and Aaron Judge back to back in that lineup. Eh, goodness, even on a quote unquote off year for Tucker, setting up Aaron Judge every year would be scary.
It would. I mean, it would be wild. And the Dodgers engaged, and they quickly dropped out, and they have not come back. So
They're still
I
there.
don't.
The Dodgers are still
I
there.
no. I mean, yeah, they never really leave. They just hang out in the back, waiting for you to come back to them. But I don't. I don't know. I thought Tucker for sure we'd have this figured out by now. He's another guy that doesn't seem to be in any big
Yeah.
hurry.
Gino Suarez. Now we have some teams that need third baseman around the league. Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Mariners. I mean, okay. All 30 teams pretty much seem like they need a third baseman right now. Where does Gino Suarez go?
Another guy it's been pretty quiet on. Apparently, the Pirates have reached out to talk to him. The Red Sox have reached out. I think he could be a short-term fix for the Red Sox if Bregman doesn't work out. And maybe they choose to pass on Bichette or don't think they can get him. The Mariners have apparently checked in on him, but there's been no conversations. And otherwise, that's all I've seen. Another guy that's been very, very
Now,
quiet.
I'm wondering if his camp is waiting for Bregman to sign, right? Because
I have to think so. I have to feel like he sees himself as a second fiddle here.
yeah, and I mean, he could go in and get a job that from one of the teams might just be like, all right, we're done playing the Boris / Bregman game. We need a third baseman now because we have other moves we need to make. Gino, this is your
Yep.
offer. Do you want it? Yes or no? And if not, we're going to move on from you because we've seen teams do that,
Yeah.
right? If you play with us too much, we're just going to be completely done with you. We're going to put you off to the side and don't bother calling us back. So here's our deal. Do you want it? Yes? No? No, you don't? Okay, we're moving on. So it's a very dangerous game that, both camps could be playing. I think Mike Reed said it back, or somebody said it back that, Bregman could end up going back to signing a 1-year deal if this is all played out incorrectly, which we've seen Boris mishandle things in the past.
Yep.
So that's not out of the question.
No, it's not.
But once Bregman falls, I think we see Suarez fall shortly after.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think that Bregman's going to kind of set the market and fill one of the gaps, and then Suarez is going to have to look at what's left and make a pick. The Reds were apparently engaged at one point. They've been quiet for a long time. Interesting comment from Curtis. Wouldn't be surprised if the Los Angeles teams get involved. The Angels at one point were talking to him. I don't know how serious that got, but I think there's a lot of teams that are looking at Gino as, he could come in and be a 1 or 2 year kind of stopgap for you. And I think the Mariners are seeing that too. The Mariners have young guys coming that maybe need another year, and Gino could be that guy that fills the hole.
Yeah. Baseball history dork. Hot stove baseball is too intense for me. Just play ball already.
Yeah.
Listen, this is like my trash TV right now. Hot stove is just like rumor central. So I love it.
Oh, it is. It is totally like, Real Housewives of MLB.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think that Gino is going to have options. I think he's very much having to wait for Bregman, and I think he's very much determining like what his market actually is. I've seen a lot of rumors that he'll be lucky to get a 1-year deal for $15 million. I've seen other people talk about the fact that he might be up for 3 years and 60. I don't think that we know what his market is yet.
If I'm the Red Sox and I have cashed in the Bregman thing, Bichette's not going to work out, I'm going to Suarez. Yes, a lot of strikeouts will be tough, but I will also take the 45 home runs at Fenway Park. Yeah. And he plays a pretty solid defensive third base. So I would love Gino in Boston.
I think there's a lot of teams that I think Boston for sure. But I think there's a lot of teams that are looking at a guy who's a better than average third baseman with good pop. And yeah, he's going to K a lot. but you know that going in, and you put him in the 4 or 5 hole and just let that happen. But he's the guy that's going to lose a lot of baseballs for you.
Uh-huh. And those extreme hot flashes, if you will, are incredible to watch. When he is on a heater, it is like it's like Kike Hernandez 2021. You can't get anything by the guy, and he hits it 5,000 feet. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think the one thing holding his market back is how he performed in Seattle.
Yes, I
He was
agree.
terrible. He was terrible in Seattle. Hit less than 200, didn't make much of an impact, and I think teams are kind of wondering, like, is that who he is? Because he had the crazy start in Arizona, then he kind of quieted down, then he got traded and really just fell off the map.
Mhm.
And I do think there's a question of like, what was that fade all about?
I mean, it's gotta be tough, right? To go to a new organization and adjust to what they're doing mid-season. Like, you're in
Yeah,
such a flow somewhere else, and then to get up and move. Like, I get they're professionals, they get paid handsomely to do this, but they're still human. It's still gonna be hard to find your routine, and maybe he just never felt quite comfortable going back. I
yeah.
don't know.
And I think there's something to be said for that. I think the problem with that is that one, he was already been to Seattle before, so this wasn't like brand new. And two, Naylor came over at the same time and was awesome. So
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think I think the hard part is like the comparison of him of because of himself and Naylor makes that hard.
Yeah. Forrest, this is a good point. He's 34 already as
Yeah.
well. So teams probably shying away from that 3-year deal when it's just like, hey, buddy, like, we have a ton of swing and miss in our game, and your age is not it's working against you here. So maybe we will try you on a 1-year deal. Maybe give him an opt-in option at the end of year one or something. But I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of he will get signed. It's just a question on where Bregman falls, I think, for me.
Yeah, somebody's gonna come in and snap him up in late January and he'll go somewhere.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the southpaw pitchers here. Valdez. We'll start with Framber Valdez. I, I don't know. I have no read on this guy. He did not help himself last year, pegging his catcher in the chest. Um, so where does he go? Does any team want to deal with that?
The last reports are the Orioles are still talking with him. The Giants have popped into the conversation, and the Mets met with him uh, last week. So I think I picked him to go to the Mets because I thought him being the dink that he is, he'd fit in great there. I don't like him. I don't like him to Baltimore. The Giants, I thought they'd go after Suarez instead. But I think so. Right now, it's Mets, Giants, Orioles are the only three teams that have been reported to have had any sort of constructive conversation with Valdez.
Yeah. I'll take your word for it because I haven't read anything on him. And honestly, I really have no interest in kind of following him. Um, I just I can't get over what he did last year. Like, that is not a good teammate. I don't want him on my team if he pulls
Agreed.
that crap. So,
Yeah, totally agree.
not okay. Ranger Suarez, however, I would take him in a heartbeat.
For sure.
Where's he going to end up?
Yeah, he's another one. I think I picked him going to maybe the Giants because I thought he'd go out west. And right now, it's the same teams in on him as Valdez. It's the Orioles, it's the Giants. The Braves are rumored to be in on him. I don't know what level of conversation they've had. There's no discussions between he and the Phillies from what I saw.
Hmm.
So it's really kind of I think that Suarez and Valdez are talking to the same teams, and somebody's going to snap up one of those guys first, and then the other guy's going to fall to who's left.
Yeah.
But nobody's moving fast here.
Yeah, Ranger has to go to the Rangers in a perfect world. Agree. Forrest has been saying that
Would
too.
love it.
It'd just be perfect. Uh,
Would love
but
it.
yeah, any other free agents that you can think of that haven't signed that has any buzz around them?
I mean, the only ones we've already mentioned is Bellinger, who's just the Yankees have basically said like we want you back here, And he's like, "Well, I want an 8-year deal." They're like, "Well, we're not giving you 8 years. We'll give you 5. I want 8. We'll give you 5. I want 8. We'll give you 5. I want 7. We'll give you 5." It's okay. And other than that, I think at one point he had a meeting with the Mets and he had a meeting with the Dodgers. Nothing came of those. I think it's just the Yankees and Bellinger staring at each other right now. Somebody's going to blink. I just don't know who.
Yeah. John, I don't know why the Yanks are the Yankees are in a interesting
Weird.
predicament with their starting rotation because they do have a lot of guys coming back in May-ish. The Red Sox, if he entered that rotation, like, whoo, I would love him there. I don't know if the Red Sox have reached out to him at all, but I would take in a heartbeat. I just, I just don't. I don't know which way the Red Sox are going at this point either, because they've been quiet after making their big moves with Contreras and Gray.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why Suarez isn't getting a lot more attention. And I don't Valdes I get. Teams are just kind of like, "Nah, I'm good." I don't know why Suarez is not talking to everybody.
Yeah, I don't, I don't get it either. But
And a team like the Mets that need pitching so bad, why are they not just throwing offers at these guys?
I know pitching's a premium at this point. Like I want these guys on there for sure. I don't know what else you're looking. What else are you looking for?
That's the thing. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, why are we not making moves here?
As
And Michael, according to Cashman the other day, they are very happy to look at a 5-year deal with Bellinger. And then he was originally looking for 5, and now he was looking for 8. Then it was like, well, I could do 7. I don't know.
And Mike, this could be another big factor, right? Maybe they don't want to lock up a long-term pitcher with Scooble coming up. They want to have some cash available because are the Tigers going to extend him? I don't know. It's a great question.
Well, yeah, and I do think there's an angle here where I think a lot of teams like, I just don't want to pay these guys what they're asking. I don't want to go put 40 million bucks a year in into Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez, whatever the number ends up being, 35, 40 million bucks. And I think there's some level of like, well, let's drag this out and see if we can get these guys to be a little bit more desperate in mid to late January. And maybe we can get that asking price down. Maybe we can get a shorter term deal. Maybe we can get a, incentive based deal. Maybe we can get opt outs, like, club options, whatever. Like, I feel like there's some level of this is like, let's do this dance and see if we can get a better deal, because they just don't want to spend full price. And I
Yep,
kind of don't blame them, because where we've gotten to with some of these contracts is ludicrous for what you're getting.
agree. I think it's just a dangerous game for a pitcher to play. And I say that with Jordan Montgomery in my mind. He came off one of the best years he had in Texas. He holds out, holds out, holds out. The Diamondbacks sign him. Boris kind of does whatever he does. And then Montgomery comes and has one of the worst years of his career, then followed up with a Tommy John, and his career pretty much over.
Yeah. Off a cliff.
Now, yeah, if you're a pitcher, is that in the back of your mind being like, I need to kind of get this done sooner rather than later, so I know where I'm going. I can get into their team regimen and I can hit the ground running instead of trying to pick this up last week of March, first week of April.
Yeah, that's how I'd feel about it. Like, I would rather as a pitcher know where I'm going with some time to spare, because like, I'd like to be getting to know my catcher and my pitching coach and the routine and what they do. And I'd like to be in the flow of things, so I don't show up in February and start from square one on day one. Like, I'd like to be getting a head start.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think these guys are also like, look, I also want to get paid. Like,
Yeah.
I may only get one shot at a big contract, and
Right.
I'm not gonna trade, convenience for the payday.
Right. which I understand
which
too.
I
But
get. It's funny because we used to see so much more activity. The winter meetings were like all the big signings happened, and everybody signed right after that, and we were done. Now we get so many big names that just drag on. All the big guys were always signed early, and now they just drag on.
mhm. Yeah, you used to see the big guys sign, and then all the other pieces just kind of trickle in.
Yeah. And by
But
early to mid January, the offseason was largely done, minus the guys that were like fighting for utility roles and backup positions, and
right.
bullpen arms.
Yep.
The
Right.
headliners were done.
Yep. So crazy. All right. I wanted to put this on here because I wanted to thank my mom for these incredible Christmas gifts that she gave Harrison and myself. She crocheted these rounding third baseball blankets, and these things are absolutely incredible. I got mine right here in my lap, and it's just like I it's unreal. I can't believe it. But they came out so good. So thank you so much, Mom. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, there's such amazing blankets. I was curled up with mine last night. My kid stole it from me tonight, but I'll get it back. Um, it's such an incredible blanket, and it's the best piece of merch I've gotten.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it is incredible. Just the talent it takes, the time, the dedication. So I just wanted to thank you so much. So it meant a lot. So
Very,
thought I'd
very
throw
cool.
that in there. Um, but
And I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
Mama Arno taking care of me.
Absolutely. I love it.
Knowing
Kevin
how
goes,
much,
yeah.
we have to throw those in the store.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be absolutely incredible. Might have to think about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's an amazing blanket. I
yeah,
was really blown away by it.
yeah, it was so cool. And I didn't even know she was gonna send you one, which was even cooler. So it was pretty awesome.
Yep.
I mean, Curtis, it's incredible. I love it. Man, like I'm sitting here sweating underneath it. I'm about ready to shed it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it is toasty.
Um, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Mom. Really appreciate it.
Wh
Um,
why are you thanking us? You did all the work.
yeah,
We just
right.
get to enjoy it now.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Harrison,
Oh,
MLB trivia time.
all right. Here we go. So, we're gonna do some lineups tonight, Nick, but gonna go a little easier. We're gonna do all-star lineups. And
Okay.
we're gonna start working backwards. We're gonna go from this past season backwards.
All right. Great.
So tonight I've got 2025 back through 2021.
All right. I think I might be okay.
So
Maybe.
we'll start easy and then we'll work back into the earlier 2000s, see how it goes.
All right.
I will say I got a bonus question for each one, which is give me the MVP. So
Oh, goodness gracious.
we'll come to that afterwards.
Okay.
So let's kick it off. Who's missing from the 2025 American League All-Star lineup? Around the infield, you had Junior Caminero at third, Jacob Wilson at short, Gleyber Torres at second, Vladdy Jr. at first, Cal Raleigh behind the plate, and Tariq Skubal on the mound. Around the outfield, you had this guy in left, Javier Baez in center, and Aaron Judge in right. Who was the left fielder? Yes, sir.
Yep. This one's still fresh in the memory bank. I haven't thrown this one out of my brain yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael, you got it. Definitely right on it. Riley Green for sure. Nice. I just want to cap off probably the best center fielder in the AL last year, getting a start with Javi Baez. Crazy.
I mean, and honestly, like his season wasn't even that great,
No.
but whatever.
Yeah. Riley Green for sure. Nice.
Riley Green. All right. So now let's move to the NL. Who's missing from the 2025 National League All-Star lineup? Around the infield, you had Manny Machado at third, Francisco Lindor at short, Ketel Marte at second, Freddie Freeman at first, and Will Smith behind the plate with Paul Skeens on the mound. You had this guy in left, Pete Kerr Armstrong in center, and Kyle Tucker in right. Who was the left fielder?
Uh-oh. Maybe it's not fresh in my mind.
Yeah. Good guess, not Mookie. That's a good guess.
It wasn't Ozuna,
It was
right?
not Ozuna. Not a guy who typically plays left. Because remember, they vote for outfielder, not position.
Yeah. Why am I drawing a blank here? Not Soto, because that was a big one.
Do you need a clue?
Do I need a clue?
Need a clue?
I'm gonna really hate myself on this one.
He plays for Michael's team.
Oh my God, it's Ronald Acuna.
Yes, it is. That's why I said, do you need
Jeez.
a clue?
Oh, knee. Get it, knee. Oh
It's
God,
Ronald Acuna.
that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
Yeah. So Mr. Acuna played left field.
Yeah, makes sense.
So bonus question. Who was the MVP of the 2025 All-Star game?
I mean, the only person that made it so we started talking about the swing off as a possible way to end every MLB game in the regular season, which would be ridiculous if they just did that instead of extra innings. Would be
That would be nuts.
But yeah, no doubt. I mean, Tatis is a great guess, but it's not Tatis.
It is a great guess. And what's interesting too is the fact that because the game ended in a swing off, there was no winning or losing pitcher.
Oh yeah, it's weird.
Very strange.
Huh. I mean, that's happened before though, right? Because when they ended in the tie in Milwaukee, there's no winner or loser there.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely Kyle Schwarber for the MVP for sure.
Schwarbs.
Yeah. That's still one of the best baseball trophies. Just the glass bat.
It's such a cool trophy.
Yeah.
It used to be this like weird, like wooden base thing. It was ugly, but the bat's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Now we'll go back to 2024. Who's missing from the 2024 American League All-Star lineup? Around the outfield, you had Stephen Kwan in left, Aaron Judge in center, and Juan Soto in right. Around the infield, you had Adley Rutschman behind the plate, Jose Ramirez at third, Gunnar Henderson at short, this guy at second, Vladdy Jr. at first, and Corbin Burns on the mound. Who was the second baseman?
2024. It's not him. I was thinking either Andres Jimenez, but I don't think it's him. Doesn't quite fit. Second base. Oh, was it Semien?
It was.
Marcus Semien. Good job. Nice pull, Mike Reed.
It was Semien.
Yep. Nice pull.
So he had a good season in 24.
Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
Not as great a season in 25, but a good season in 24.
Yep. Good pull.
All right, to the NL. Who's missing from the 2024 National League All-Star lineup? Around the outfield, you had Jurickson Profar in left, Teoscar Hernandez in center, and Christian Yelich in right. Around the infield, you had William Contreras behind the plate, this guy at third base, Trey Turner at short, Ketel Marte at second, Bryce Harper at first, and Paul Skeens on the mound. Who was the third baseman?
I hate how blank my mind goes on these things.
And here I was thinking these were going to be easier. Although I will say these are still kind of hard because there's a lot of options. And I don't pick the most obvious one on the field for good reason.
National League. So Alec Boehm. Yeah, great one,
sir.
Michael. And he fits for sure. Alec Boehm.
That is Alec Boehm.
Yeah. Nice job. Machado, great guess. Not him for sure. But yeah. Remember, look at the number of X's too. The number of X's helps. That's where I think I get hung up is I get the word puzzle part of me stuck
Yeah.
without thinking about
Yeah,
who
we talked about that
actually would.
before. You solve it backwards. You're trying to find a name that fits. I'm trying to think of names and see if they fit, and we work
Right.
in different directions.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right. Who was named the MVP of the 2024 All-Star Game?
I do know this one. It was in Texas. It was our boy.
It was,
The Royals are trying to get him hard.
which would be such a great move for them,
Yeah, I agree.
especially if the Red Sox get back a pitcher.
I just want him to have half the year that he had in 2024.
Oh, he was a beast.
He was so good.
I mean, he was still good in 25, but 24 was ridiculous.
Yeah. And Mike Reed, you are correct. It is
Mike
Jarren
Reed's
Duran.
got it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Duran had that big home run.
Yeah, massive. He
It was
crushed
a bomb, too.
Yeah.
Not a cheapie. All right. Who's missing from the 2023 American League All-Star lineup? Around the outfield, you had Randy Arozarena in left, Austin Hayes in center, and Adolis Garcia in right. Behind the plate, you had this guy, Josh Young at third, Corey Seager at short, Marcus Semien at second, Yandy Diaz at first, and Garrett Cole on the mound. Who was the catcher? Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah, kind of saw the influx of the names on the other team there, so I kind of figured it was him.
Yep.
And the name fit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys all got that one. Michael got Duran. Good. Yes. Wells, good guess. Not Wells. Not Alejandro Kirk. That's a good guess.
Yep, good guess.
Michael does got it. It is, or has it. It's Jonah Heim for sure.
Now, flip back to that lineup real quick. Let's appreciate the fact that Adolis Garcia was in right, Jonah Heim was behind the plate, and they both lost their jobs at the end of this season. I mean, that just shows you how far things fell and went bad in Texas.
You had 5 Texas Rangers on that starting lineup. Crazy.
Yeah, rough.
Yeah, nuts.
But yeah, so that was Jonah Heim, who had a monster season in 23. Everybody thought he was going to be the next big thing, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, brutal.
All right, to the NL. Who's missing from the 2023 National League All-Star lineup? Around the outfield, you had Corbin Carroll on left, Mookie Betts in center, and Ronald Acuna in right. Around the infield, you had Sean Murphy behind the plate, Nolan Arenado at third, this guy at short, Luis Arraez at second, Freddie Freeman at first, and Zach Gallen on the mound. Who was the shortstop?
It's not my boy. Although he was there, he didn't start. Perdomo.
Yep.
He was there, but he didn't start. Not Lindor. It's not Adames.
Not Turner. Good guess.
Yeah, it's not Turner.
Trey Turner's a starter like it seems like every other year.
Was it Arcia?
It
was that random like Orlando Arcia.
Orlando Arcia, who got DFA'd last year and ended up with the Rockies.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Arcia had that, Dansby left and Arcia kind of like got handed the job and actually did really well in 23, but not after.
Yeah. Michael, it's not Orlando Arcia. Sorry, it was.
Yeah.
For sure.
Tough memory.
Yeah.
All right. Who was named the MVP of the 2023 All-Star Game?
I do remember this one because this one sticks out. This was also a huge home run for the NL late in the game because the NL hadn't won an All-Star game in, I don't know, seemed like 85 years.
Yeah, it was like 10 it was like 10 plus years. It was crazy how far back it went.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll let the chat. This one's a little bit tougher. It might not be because it's such an outlier. It might stick out a little bit. Yes, it is the Colorado catcher, Michael. Do you remember what his name was?
Yep.
He's
That's the hard part, is it? He's not a well-known guy.
Now with the Padres, I think.
Yes.
He was over there at some point last year. I don't know if he finished with them or not.
I'm trying to think where he finished the season. I think he did. Yeah, he finished with San Diego.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have a good season, but He
No.
finished there.
Yeah, he was like the Rocky Soul. Yes, Elizabeth. Nice job. Elias Diaz. For sure.
Nice. Yeah, you got it. It is
Nice,
Elias Diaz.
nice pull. Nice pull, Elizabeth. Yeah,
Yep.
and Fran got it too. And Michael got it too. Nice. Good one.
All right. Back to the AL. Who's missing from the 2022 American League All-Star lineup? Around the outfield, you had Giancarlo Stanton in left, Byron Buxton in center, and Aaron Judge in right. Around the infield, you had Alejandro Kirk behind the plate, Rafael Devers at third, Tim Anderson at short, Andres Jimenez at second, Vladdy Jr. at first, and this guy on the mound. Who was the pitcher?
I can't look at those X's. Those are killing me.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, weekend wingman. I try to pick the ones that are a little less obvious because I think like 7 of these 9 players we'd all instantly get. So I try to make it a little harder.
Yeah, we get a lot of criticism when we release them into Facebook Reels that they're too easy. So
Yeah, we get that a lot. Too easy.
yeah. I love when they're like, oh, it's too easy, and then they get it wrong, and you're just like, haha.
Yeah. Or they never answer. It's like,
Yeah, right.
do you have an answer? Jamie Moyer.
Yeah.
Not Moyer, not Gosman,
not Cole either.
not
Good
Cole.
guess, Lobster. 2022. Where was the 2022 All-Star game played?
That is a great question.
Alek Manoah, not a bad guess. It's not him. Why am I can't even like put a name right now that would even fit that.
2022 All-Star game. Oh, Dodger Stadium.
Okay, so that doesn't help me with the AL lineup.
we love that you like it.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to keep the brain moving, but when you have nothing up here like I do, it's hard to move it around.
So left-handed pitcher, stud, absolute stud. You may have forgotten about him. He's been gone for a little while.
Rich Hill.
No, nobody forgets Dick Mountain.
That's true. Left-handed pitcher.
Guy hasn't made too many starts lately. And you love him. You love this lefty.
Oh my god, man. The team would give it away, wouldn't it?
Yep. John's got it.
Oh, yes, of course, McClanahan.
Shane McClanahan.
It's so hard because this poor dude just can't stay on the field, but he's so freaking good when he's actually on the mound. But he's completely he's gone from my head because we haven't seen him.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those guys that like we've probably forgotten about him because it's been a while since we've seen him.
Yeah, great job, John.
But he was so good.
Yeah, the gerbil in Nick's brain is asleep.
Yeah, the wheel is not turning. There's no smoke coming out.
No. Well, he's probably in there. He's just like dormant because everything else is clogged.
He's wrapped up in his blanket too.
Yeah, McClanahan, great one.
Yeah, I miss watching him pitch. I really do.
Just so dominant. I mean, every time I turn on a Red Sox game and we got McClanahan going against us, I'm just like, yeah, I can watch something else.
Yeah, I don't need to see him embarrass these guys for the next 7 innings.
So good, man. Yeah, they're just another one of those Rays pitching prospects that just comes up and mows everybody down.
They just 3D print these dudes.
Crazy. Great one.
All right. Who's missing from the 2022 National League All-Star lineup? Around the outfield, you have Jock Peterson in left, Mookie Betts in center, Ronald Acuna in right. Around the infield, you got Wilson Contreras behind the plate, Manny Machado at third, Trey Turner at short, this guy at second, Paul Goldschmidt at first, and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. Who was the second baseman?
It's got to be Jed Lowry.
Absolutely. How'd you know?
It was either him or Jed Jerko. Those were my two guesses. All right. We got second base. It's not Kettle Marty. It's not. It's not Cronenworth. Thinking Jock Peterson making a start in 2022 is incredible.
Yeah, I wasn't going to interrupt your train of thought, but it just take a minute to appreciate the fact that Jock Peterson was on this team.
Yeah, love it.
Clayton Kershaw made the start. And back in 2022, we all thought this was like a lifetime achievement award because he was done. It took a few more years. Oh, Jazz is a good guess, not Jazz.
Jazz is a great guess.
We talked about this guy on the show tonight already.
You know I'm great with those types of clues, right?
I know. We've only talked about like 6 or 7 players.
I know.
And no, I did not say that on purpose, everybody out there. You guys, the teenagers, are going to jump all over the 6 or 7. Oh, come on. He just got traded.
He just got traded.
We talked about it earlier in the show. He just got traded. Do you even listen to your own show, Nick?
I don't. No, I don't.
He just got traded to the A's.
Oh my God, dude, terrible. And Jeff McNeil. God,
I put him in here just in honor of the fact we're going to be talking about him anyways.
That's completely embarrassing. I'm going to blame it on the flu still.
It's definitely the hangover of the drugs.
Yeah, good, Curtis. Good.
Jeff is McNeil. That was McNeil's big year.
Yeah. Dang. Good one.
All right. So, who was named the MVP of the 2022 All-Star Game?
This one, I don't have a clue.
This one's, I think, less obvious than some of the others. The player's not less obvious, but that he won the MVP is.
Did the NL or AL win that year?
Yeah, Wingman, you're right. That was the year McNeil won the batting title. In 2022, the AL won 3-2.
Okay. I mean, was it freaking Shohei?
No.
Stanton as a guess?
It was Stanton.
Oh, nice job, Elizabeth.
It was Giancarlo Stanton.
Nice pull. Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten that one.
Yeah, he had a big hit in the game, so that's
yeah.
I mean, literally, it takes one play to win the MVP of that thing.
Yeah, yeah. Kershaw's not a bad guess, right? Lifetime achievement. That's where I was kind of going to, being at Dodger Stadium too. But yeah, yeah. But I mean, Judge, you're close, right? But yeah, Stanton.
Yeah,
dang,
it was Stanton.
Crazy.
All right. Who's missing from the 2021 American League All-Star lineup? Around the infield, you had Salvador Perez behind the plate, Rafael Devers at third, Xander Bogaerts at short, Marcus Semien at second, Vladdy Jr. at first, and Shohei Ohtani on the mound. Around the outfield, you had Teoscar Hernandez in left, this guy in center field, and Aaron Judge in right. Who was the center fielder?
Is it my boy from the Orioles?
Which boy?
It's my boy. I got him, I think.
The cyclist?
The cyclist?
The cyclist.
Oh, yes, the cyclist. Yeah, for sure. Cedric Mullins. Sorry. Again, it's not clicking on all cylinders here.
Little delayed.
Cedric Mullins for sure. Nice job, John.
Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric Mullins.
He had a great season in 21.
Yeah. Yeah, Mookie, not a bad guess, but he was already in the NL in 2021, Corey. Yeah. Kevin Pillar, also not a bad guess.
Yeah, also a good guess. But
yeah, Cedric Mullins, man. It's going to be interesting to watch his year in Tampa this year. I don't know what he's going to bring to that Rays team.
And I'm not sure what kind of opportunity he's going to get either. Is he going to play every day? Is he going to play every so often? What kind of situation is he going to be in?
Yeah, but I love this guy. I love this guy's game, how he goes out every day, plays the game as a professional. I love him.
And I still think it's cool that we were at the game when he hit the cycle, and it was just
It
like
was,
so, just like chill. It's like,
yeah, it
oh,
was so
cycle, cool.
sick. Yeah, so cool.
All right, back to the NL. Who's missing from the 2021 National League All-Star lineup? Around the infield, you had JT Realmuto behind the plate, Nolan Arenado at third, Fernando Tatis Jr. at short, Adam Frazier at second, Freddie Freeman at first, and Max Scherzer on the mound. Around the outfield, you had Jesse Winker in left, this guy in center, and Nick Castellanos in right. Who was the center fielder?
Ronald Acuna. No.
Good guess, not him.
Tasting my own medicine there.
Yeah, how's that? How was that?
Love it. Not Mookie. Remember, the X's have to fit.
Yep.
It's not him. He was in the AL. Kevin Kiermaier, not him.
No, not Kiermaier. Oh yeah, Wingman. We loved Vernon Wells. We were big Vernon Wells fans.
Yeah,
back in the day.
No, not when he played against our Sox, but
no, when he played against our Red
good.
Sox, we didn't like him so much, but loved Vernon Wells in general.
This one's killing me.
Check your hat, Nick.
Brian Reynolds.
Yes, sir.
Dang. Yeah, this is another guy that I think has kind of underwhelmed a lot of baseball people. I think we signed that extension in Pittsburgh. They thought he was going to be the cornerstone and just really hasn't necessarily lived up to expectations. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think he got off to a good start, got the contract, and then kind of came back to reality a little bit.
Yeah, because I for a while there, teams were checking in on him because the Red Sox were in on him, I think, to get him over to Boston as either a trade or free agent signing. And then he signed the extension in Pittsburgh, and then all talks were just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, we're good.
Well, the hard part is like that whole team kind of like they were beginning to show some signs of life. You know, Brian Hayes and all those guys are coming along, and then everybody just like fell off a cliff together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. All right. So, who was named the MVP of the 2021 All-Star Game? This one is probably more obvious because this guy's been in the lineup like every season. He's always there.
So, Judge.
Not Judge.
Ohtani.
Not Ohtani.
Machado.
Not Machado. Machado's not on there this go around.
Oh, I didn't look. Who won that one? Do you know who won that
AL
game?
again. AL won 5-2.
Okay.
Yeah, AL won. AL won a bunch of them in a row.
2021. Was it Vlad Jr.?
It was Vladdy. That was the one that Vladdy won.
Nice. Yeah, nice job, John. Crushing it.
Good call, John.
Nice. Dang. Yeah, the yeah, I think it's Vladdy. Nice job, Tyler. Nice. Yeah, Palindrome, I'm not a Pirates fan. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a hat collector. I have a full-on closet full of, I don't know, 75, 80 hats. I wear a different one every show. Everybody that comes back can vouch for me. I wear a different one every night. Pretty much depending on whatever we're talking about. We talked about the Pirates earlier in the show, so I thought it was Pirates night. But yeah, Vlad Guerrero, good one. Crazy. But dang. Yeah, those are good. They're tough because it's like those all-star years all blur together, and it's hard when 7 out of the 9 guys play every year too.
I know. There's so many guys that just really repeat.
Palindrome, you're all set, bud. No need to
Yeah, no,
apologize.
you're all good.
It's all good. Yeah, we've been called worse on this show. It's all good. Worse than a Pirates fan. You're all good.
I would call
Um,
been called worse tonight. I mean, just look
I'm
back through the chat. Like,
it's facts. Um,
it's all good.
But yeah, that's all we have for the show right now. Harrison's going to bring up the chat so YouTube can see Facebook, Facebook can see YouTube chat. And this is the part of the show. We haven't actually been able to do this the last few shows because we've just had some guests on and been pretty busy. That this is the part of the show that you guys can bring whatever you want to talk about to the show. So anything pressing, free agent wise, with any specific team that you want to talk about, this is your time to bring something up. So any questions or any topic you want to bring, think about it, throw it in the chat. And while you're thinking of that, Harrison, do you have anything else to add?
So I got a couple things for you real quick. So a few hours ago, Andrew Heaney announced his retirement. He's stepping away from the game. I think a lot of teams expected him to keep going. But he decided that he's had enough and wants to go live a normal life. He's had some success. He's made some money, and he's off to new things. So,
That
to him.
For a guy that is Jamie Moyer-esque, right? Never will overpower you. He got guys out for many different organizations around the league. He had a very solid career for sure. So congrats to him. That's awesome.
And he's one of those guys that because he was around the strike zone and could get guys out, like he was just going to keep getting chances.
Yeah.
Was he great? No. You know, he was an okay pitcher, but he was good enough that he was worth slotting in and giving a shot to.
Yeah. Curtis is asking about the market of Okamoto. I'm kind of checking on it right now.
So Okamoto, last I saw, it was down to the
Padres and Angels.
Padres, Angels, and Pirates are the three teams that are actively pursuing him right now.
Send him to Pittsburgh. Let's go. Let's just keep it going. Why not?
Yeah. So I think Okamoto is again one of those guys who's drawing, I think, less interest than expected, but he's got some, and will likely end up landing somewhere. But as of right now, it's Padres, Angels, Pirates.
I mean, it's so hard to tell how much an impact these Japanese players are going to have, right?
Yep.
We've seen hitters come over in the past, just from the track record, that it is a tough adjustment to MLB pitching.
It is.
It's better. It's better pitching. And these pitchers make adjustments on the fly. They get you out one way and they keep getting you out that way until you make an adjustment. And then it's hard. I mean, we were excited about Masataka Yoshida. I was more excited than you were because I thought his contact would translate well.
Yep.
And he still took quite a dive. He finds it in stretches still for the Sox, mostly against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays can't get that dude out. But otherwise than that, like, he's not really, lived up to the expectations. But
no, he's been good, not great. And we say it all the time. When guys come over from Japan, hitters come over from Japan, we typically see anywhere from 30 to 50 points of batting average come off. We see the power come down a little bit because they are facing better pitching. And a lot of people have basically compared, baseball in Japan to kind of like AAA level baseball. These are very good players.
Right.
Well, like the elite of the elite go to MLB. Japan is where a lot of guys that can't get a gig in MLB go. So it's one of those things where it's good. It's very good baseball, but it's not MLB level. And you see these guys adjust. And Yoshida was a guy that was hitting 315 over in Japan. He's hitting 265 here.
I did see a really cool story. It was either this week or last week. But remember the trivia question about the two guys that went back to back and their first at bat that hit homers with Aaron Judge and Tyler Austin.
Yep.
We hadn't heard about Tyler Austin in years. He was over in Japan. He just signed, I think, with the Cubs on a big league deal. So he's back. He's back in the MLB. So
that's right. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So that's kind of a cool story. I like that. Went over, rejuvenated his career, and now he's back in the MLB. So I love that.
Well, and I had to laugh. So during the trivia show on Patreon, we were talking about one of the clues had Hunter Harvey in it. We were talking about Hunter Harvey, how good he was, how he kind of disappeared.
Mhm.
Well, sure enough, the day after our trivia show, Hunter Harvey signs, and we're like, "Is somebody watching like our show and
Yeah,
just like
right.
picking up on what we're putting down?" Because Hunter Harvey signed with the Cubs after kind of becoming irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. It was literally like
Oh,
minutes
weird.
after you sent me a text and you're like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm convinced like like MLB execs are watching the show for hints or something because we
Yeah,
talk about something and then it happens.
yeah, it's weird. Curtis, what are our thoughts about the strike zone in 2026, the ABS? Now, I'm going to talk about it from my perspective. Being in North Carolina for the last 7, 8 years, I've been to a handful of Durham Bulls games, and I've seen the ABS work for the last 4 or 5 years. It doesn't take anything out of the game, right? It's a quick challenge. It takes 7 seconds. You get it right, and then you move on. Um, and I like it. I think it's time. We have the technology, and too much is riding on these games now, right? As much as we don't want to bring money into it, that's what it boils down to. Like wins and losses affect how much money a team or a player makes. So I think I think it's just time. I think it's going to be fine. And I don't think it's going to take away from the game, really.
No, I agree. I think again, I go back to I don't want to see ABS become the thing that every guy wants to challenge every ball that's a hair off the plate, which it could become that. But I do want there to be a way to fix the calls that are just terrible. Like I think of Walker Bueller's fastball down the middle last season where he's screaming at the umpire because he missed it. I think of Angel Hernandez ringing up, was it Wyatt Langford on 3 pitches that were like 8
Oh
inches off the
my
plate?
god. And it
Like,
was like 4, 6, then 8. Like it was
oh, it's horrible. Like I look at it as this is the safety net that the players need to fix the really bad calls. I don't want to see us become one of those like the ball was a hair off the plate. I'm going to challenge that. I do like the fact that the challenges are limited, so you can't nickel and dime every call. You're going to use it when you really need it. But I do think you need a way to protect these guys from just the really bad miss.
Yeah. The interesting part for me is how the hitters adjust because the ABS uses the entire top corners, right? And I'm going to
Yep.
focus on the top corners of the strike zone for a minute because an umpire's usual call, right? If you look at their report cards, it's very rounded at the top.
It's an
They
oval.
don't, yeah, they don't call those inside and outside high corners that often, right? I don't know if it's just how our eyes are shaped in the visual, but those seem to be not called. So it's going to be interesting to see how hitters adjust to that when they get a call up there, right? So I
Yeah.
think we might see a little bit of an adjustment at the plate, and maybe more contact because of that. Because hitters are going to have to be, aware of the entire strike zone and not just the oval part of the box, if you will.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely going to add some interest to the game. It's definitely going to help these guys fix the really bad calls. It's going to blow up in some guys' faces. It's going to be interesting to watch. But I do think you have to give these guys something. And I don't view this as so much a knock on the umpires as the reality of the fact that what they do is really hard.
Yeah.
Being an umpire in Major League Baseball is harder than ever. Everybody throws 95 plus. Everybody throws everything with, friggin' 2 feet of lateral break. So I put that post on our page about Jesus Montero earlier today, and I was watching that game back from 2011. Freddie Garcia, was throwing 87, 89. You had Brian Mattis throwing 90, 91. And like I watched Alex Rodriguez get blown away by a 92 mile per hour fastball. And even the announcers were saying, the kid really brings heat. There was one guy in that they went through a bunch of pitchers because it was a slugfest. Only one guy in that game threw anything over 95, and he threw 2 pitches at 96.
Yeah.
Everything else was low 90s.
Mm-hmm.
These bullpen guys are not coming in and throwing a hundo like they do now. The
No.
starters were throwing high 80s, low 90s. Everybody was low 90s. There was not a lot of 95 plus. And a lot of the breaking stuff was not super impressive. I do think what you're seeing now is spin rates and velocity. That job is harder than ever. And this is the reality of they need a little help because sometimes it ain't that easy.
No. I mean, as much as we say like, oh man, these guys are terrible, they're still
I
the
mean,
best of the best, right?
there's some moments where they really are terrible.
And I agree, but the human element is you are going to miss some,
Oh yeah.
right? I think the whole premise of this is to get, like you said, get the egregious calls out of the game. There's no need for the ones 8 inches outside to be rung up for strike 3. That's not okay to me. Or my favorite clip was 2 years ago. Cole Raggins opens up the season, and the announcer, without missing a beat, just goes, and Raggins rocks back and throws the first pitch of the season right down the middle for ball 1. And I'm like,
so bad.
I mean, those calls need to go. I'm with you. I don't want them to nickel and dime the corners. No. If a pitcher makes a pitch and gets my ass out, then I deserve to take a walk back to the dugout, because guess what? I didn't swing at the first 2. And if he's going to dot the outside corner, yeah, I didn't take advantage of my at bat.
And I am so over these guys with a 1-2 count, trying to like eye every pitch. If it's close, swing the damn bat. Yeah. Like, I miss the old days of like choke up, get it in play, make contact. These guys, they just want to like overanalyze the pitch and like not chase anything. And it's like, guys, if it's close and you get rung up, too bad. Like that's the way the game is played. And if it's close enough to get rung up, you probably should be swinging. Now, a slider 8 inches off the plate, you shouldn't be swinging at in any situation. Right. And this should fix that. But I do not want to see this become a matter of like, well, that ball was an 1/8 of an inch off the plate, and we're going to challenge every pitch like that. It's like, come on. Like, we don't need that.
Now, remember, and I think a lot of fans don't realize this, is you only get a certain amount of challenges in a game.
Yes.
I don't know if they're going to do 2 or 3. I can't remember. But once you get those 2 or 3 wrong, you're done. You can't challenge anything else for the rest of the game. If you are right, you keep it. That's it. If you're wrong, you lose it. So just like the NFL for review, like if you throw your challenge flag and you miss it, you lose the timeout, you lose that. Like, you don't lose anything in baseball. You just lose the challenge. That's it. And then you only got 1 left.
Which would suck to burn a challenge on a close pitch in the 2nd inning when you have like an egregious one in the 9th you can't go back and fix. Like, that would be bad. Yeah. And Captain, after talking to Steve Traxel and listening to his stories with the umpires and the way things were, like, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I want to see there be some variety. Like, I enjoy the game within the game of figuring out what an umpire zone is and all that. I'm not an advocate saying that like every strike in the box is going to be called a strike. Like, there should be some variety. But I do think when a guy misses one that's really bad, this is what we need to fix that. But I do like the fact that not every strike zone's the same. I do like the fact that not every pitch is necessarily called the same. And I think, Traxel's stories of behind the scenes on that were really fun to hear, because for those of us that played baseball at any level, little league, high school, college, whatever, you spent the first inning figuring what the hell the guy's strike zone was. Right. And then you adjusted from there. Like, that was the adjustment you had to make as a player, was figure out what's going to get called.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved catching in high school because like I knew all the guys behind me. Like, I was friendly with all the umpires and I knew a lot of their strike zones. So like before we even started the game, I would just go out to my pitcher and be like, hey, we're living on the outside half. And when I say outside half, we're living 3-4 inches off the plate. Like, that's where we're sitting. I'm not even going to set up behind the plate. You're just going to hit my mitt. And they're like, okay. And yeah, so that's kind of taken out. But I agree. Like, I think my perspective did change a little bit, like you said, listening to Traxel, because they still studied those guys. That was part of their pregame pitching ritual was, all right, let's take out Joe West's strike zone from the last 2 weeks. And what did he call?
Yep.
So
Yeah, and these
yeah,
guys had reputations, and like I love to story about was it Poncino who's like, 1 o'clock game. Hey guys, umpires
yeah,
flat at 4:30. Swing the bats. We're gonna move this game along.
yep,
And that was the same stuff we'd get. Doubleheader on Sunday. It's like, hey guys, it's 92 degrees. This is the second game of a 4-game weekend. Let's move it along. We got to get out of here.
yep, yeah,
We used to get that a lot. Swing the bats, boys.
yeah. I mean, the only new adjustment to the game I don't like is the damn ghost runners after the 9th inning. I mean, yeah, I'm torn on that. I totally see where you're coming from, Curtis. I really do, right? Because it does add a gimmick, I guess, if you will. It's
a cheesy way
gimmicky.
to win a game with like first guy gets up, base hit, and the game's over. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I also get the part from the player side as well, right? I mean, you could see a 3-game series actually turn into like a 6-game series if you have back-to-back nights go to 17 innings.
Oh, I mean, look at the World Series, 18-inning game. I mean, that's you used everybody you friggin' had to get through that game.
Right. And to just get through regular season and to zap your bullpen for a full week,
Yeah.
like now you've strapped your team in more ways than once, right? Like I get if it's the World Series, yeah, go for it, right? I mean, don't put the ghost runner, obviously, but regular season game 46, like what the hell does this game matter? Usually not a ton, right? There's not a ton of weight on game 46. Why are we standing out here for 28 innings? This makes no sense.
Yeah. I like the idea of of kind of like what the NHL does. We play overtime, and then when the overtime ends, we go to a shootout. I would almost love to see MLB do the ghost runner like after the 10th inning. Like the 10th inning, we play straight up,
Yeah.
and then the 11th the ghost runner comes out, or the 12th the ghost runner comes out, because I'd like to see a team win the game clean. At the same time, I don't want to see him go 18 innings in April and mess up the whole next week, like you were saying, because you burn the whole bullpen.
Right.
Because like, and I said this and I got a lot of crap for it on the show, but like the 18-inning World Series game, it gets kind of boring when you're digging through the bullpen for the last guys you've got because you're in inning 16 and you're all just gassed. Like, I don't think that makes for great. It's wicked exciting because the game could end at any minute, but the game itself was not great to watch.
Right.
It was exciting as hell because you could, the next pitch could be the one that decides it. But like what you saw for the play was not good.
No.
Like it wasn't great after like the 12th inning. It was pretty crappy.
What I do like about the ghost runner is that it promotes small ball. It promotes baseball again, right? No outs, runner on second. What is that first hitter trying to do? Put something on the ground on the right side to get him to third with less than 2 outs.
Yep.
Right. I do love that. If the team in the top half doesn't score, what does the home team do? They bunt him over to third, get him to third with less than 2 outs. Right. So like that part of baseball is brought back. I mean, it's almost kind of forced for them to do that. I think we are starting to see the pendulum of baseball swing back to smallish ball
a little bit
again. We're starting to see more teams be like, hey, let's go back to hit and runs. Let's go back to run and hits. Like we've seen steals increase, right? I mean, rule changes on that. That's a different topic for a different time. But we have seen small ball start to make an appearance again. But I do love the fact that the extra inning ghost runner does force teams to think about their approach at the plate more than just now listen, the 3-run homer still happens.
Yeah.
Right. With a ghost runner. But most of the time they're up there and be like, okay, how can we scratch these runs across?
Well, because really what you're doing is you're basically challenging your team to show how good they are with runners in scoring position. We're going to give you one to start. You got 3 shots to get them in. How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. Which team actually has the ability to move guys over and get them in?
Yeah.
And it does promote some small ball. But I got a question for you in chat. So you, Nick, and also the chat. Would you rather see baseball do a ghost runner or a swing off? If you could pick a way to end a game, ghost runner or swing off?
I'm gonna combine the two where I'm talking like it's me and you, 1 versus 1 in the backyard, right? And I'm the ghost runner where like I hit the ball and I run to second base and I go ghost runner on second, and then I go back to home plate and I get to hit again.
Oh.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, I think the swing off was absolutely incredible to watch. It was fun,
It's like
right?
an NHL shootout. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah, the game didn't mean anything. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Now, the thing with that is how do you start counting regular season stats? How does that look in baseball reference? How does that look in StatHead? How does that look, you know what I mean, on all those databases? How does it look in the
Right.
MLB record books when, okay, Red Sox have gotten to, their fourth swing off in 5 days, and it's Nick, Harrison, and Capin are the three hitters all 4 nights, right? Does that count to our regular season home run total? Do those just get cast off to the side like, playoff career home runs, which I still don't understand that.
Yeah.
Um, but like how do you account for those runs in the MLB record books? Do they count as RBIs? Do they count towards your average? I mean, right? I mean, is that a valid question?
I mean, it's a fair question. What do you do with it? But assuming we figure that out, how would you rather see a game end? With a ghost runner at second base and the inning being played, or the swing off?
Hmm. Hmm.
Captain, I'm honored to be included.
I
Captain,
didn't
you're
say
carrying us, man. So you
yeah.
don't just be honored. Get out there and do it.
It's a tough one for me, right? Because I think what the Ghost Runner gives us is still parity, right? A lot of different things can still happen with a Ghost Runner. A lot of different scenarios, all the, infinite ways a baseball play can happen with a Ghost Runner on second, right? It can be a two-run homer, it can be a bunt that gets thrown into right, it can be, a pass ball that gets them to third. Like there's still so much that can happen to get that run home. Whereas a swing off, it's just like, okay, Red Sox hit two, Yankees hit three, Yankees win.
Yep.
Like, does that get old after a while? Or does it stay exciting? Does it hold its integrity, I guess, for lack of a better word, throughout the entire season? Or does that really get old fast?
Um,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I still think I'd rather have the ghost runner than the swing off because the ghost runner at least like forces you to play baseball.
Yeah.
The swing off becomes more like a shootout, which obviously is fun. And like the guys are saying in the chat, like none of that stuff counts to your point totals and all that in the NHL, just like it would in MLB. Like
I mean, fair.
at the end of the day, somebody's gonna drive in the game winning run. But they probably get credit for one. Your winning pitchers, whoever was last on the mound, and all that stuff can be figured out. But it becomes a bit of a gimmick, which I think is very exciting to do the swing off. Like it doesn't feel like baseball. Like baseball needs there needs to be a finale. There needs to be a winning run coming across the plate in some form, whether it's a hit, a walk, an error, whatever. Like there needs to be a winning run that comes over. So there's some kind of like final play or
Yeah.
final moment that ends the game.
I can get behind that for sure.
So like
Yeah, for me,
I don't love the ghost runner, but I would take that over a swing off.
I think I'm with you. And I think it's for, I might have said it poorly, but I think the swing off would lose its muster over time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
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 I mean, T-Bone, I mean, in a perfect world, I would go back to just playing the way we played. Maybe use the ghost runner after so many innings to try to prevent the 18 inning game. But I kind of miss the old days of somebody goes and wins this game. We play until there's a winner.
Yeah.
That was always the best part about baseball. Baseball was timeless, and baseball always had a winner. There
Mhm.
were no ties. There was none of that. Like, you either won or you lost. The tie column doesn't exist for a reason.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I would take the Ghost Runner first, then the swing off. But yeah, I'm afraid the swing off would lose its thing, if you
I
will,
I think it's
over
one of those.
time.
It's fun for an exhibition style game like the All-Star game. Like, I think at some point, fans and probably even players are gonna be like, "This is dumb." Like, I don't wanna get up there and take 3 home run derby swings for my team again to try to win a game. Like, let's just go play the game.
Yeah, because then you're gonna have teams just build in fantasy rosters with guys that hit bombs just in case you're tied.
Yeah, you're gonna see Aaron Judge get a whole bunch more swings. You're gonna see teams have a guy on the bench who's nothing but a drop and drive guy,
Yeah.
in order just to win that style of game.
Yeah, and T-Bone, you are preaching to the choir here,
Yeah.
bud. We have had this discussion a lot, and we agree. He says, "I can't stand how Major League Baseball is changing their rules to favor the casual fan. They're pandering to people who don't watch to get more people involved, and it's making us diehards not like it." And I agree. Like, listen, baseball has forever evolved, right?
Yep.
I mean, we had Michael Simpson on here about a month ago talking about what baseball looked like in 1776 for crying out loud and how it's evolved to today, right? So baseball always makes little rule changes and tweaks throughout time. But I agree, but with you for sure. It all comes down to one thing, and it's money, right? And the fan union, I mean not the fan union, that's us.
Yeah.
But the players union is another culprit in this because they came out and said when they put the Ghost Runner on second, they're like, we don't want our guys standing out here for 18 innings every other night. Like this isn't good for our guys to put these extra hours in. Like they're essentially working overtime and not getting paid for it, right? I mean, it's kind of what they're saying. I
Well,
mean,
it's that, and baseball's already a game of endurance, and the more innings you play, the more at bats, the more grinding on the knees, the shoulders, just the more likely you are to have guys get hurt. And I don't know how many extra innings these guys would play in a season. Um, but I can't imagine it's enough to cause a problem. However, we saw an 18 game in the World Series where literally they were down to like, position players having to come in to pitch if they got any deeper into that game, which
yeah,
also isn't ideal.
right.
So,
No, they're not talking about the
oh no,
swing off T-Bone. It was just kind of like a fun question Harrison threw out
yeah, I
because
just
we were
threw that out
talking
there for the
about,
hell of it.
yeah, we were talking about all stars and stuff like that during
We got a
trivia.
lot. We got a lot of folks in chat that do not like the Ghost Runner, and we're kind of in that camp as well. But I think it's the best. I think it's the best bad option to keep things from getting kind of ridiculous. But I don't necessarily love it. I'd love to see them bring the Ghost Runner out later. Let's play a few innings of extra innings that are straight up, and then let's bring that up to avoid getting to inning 18.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But I would love to know, to back up T-Bone's point, I would love to know how many first time fans have come into baseball from these rule changes that are like, oh, I'll watch a game. How many of them continue to watch beyond that first game? Like, they
Yeah,
go to a game, they watch a game. Like, what is the retention rate of new fans? Because that to me tells you everything about what's going on in baseball. Is, are they coming back? Because we've seen what, 3 straight years of attendance growth, 3 straight years of TV growth. It's like, is that because first timers are staying around, or is that because some of the diehards are actually coming back because their team is good? Or is that just because we've got the Dodgers have been so crazy good, and that's a huge market? Is it the influx of Japanese players? Like, who are the new fans driving up the ratings? Because I'd love to understand, like, what's the source of that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's easier to invest in an MLB season now when I can sit down and just be like, I know this game's done in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yep.
right? Like I think it's a lot easier because I mean we've talked about on this show, like we've been able to really pick up a second team, like a West Coast team,
Yeah.
and watch two full baseball games here on the East Coast. Like we never, ever used to be able to do that because the Red Sox would start at 7. They wouldn't get over till quarter of midnight, 12
It
o'clock.
was friggin' 10:30 at the
And
earliest.
it's like by that time, like I'm not switching over to start a game on the West Coast. Like now, the Red Sox are done by 9:40, and I got a 15-minute break before the Diamondbacks start at 10:05. So like I can actually watch more baseball. So I think the access to all these games are better, right? We have MLB TV. We can see, well, most of us can
I'll say
see
some people can't, Nick.
most of us can see a lot more games. So I think it's accessibility to the games, and I do think as much as it stinks for us diehard, it's just easier to consume it because it's quicker. It
It is.
just it fits the American lifestyle better now.
Yeah, like, so I watched that 2011 game last night. I had it on while I was doing some stuff, and I spent a lot of time just kinda sitting and watching the game, just kinda remembering how baseball was played 15 years ago. But even with them cutting out, like, pitching changes and all that to speed the old game along, it was still 2 plus hours, and that was, like, cutting a bunch of stuff out. That was gonna be a 3 plus hour game,
Gotcha.
and it was, guys were stepping out and fixing their batting gloves and getting the sign and stepping back in, like, it definitely felt slower.
Yeah.
Um, but that was always the pace baseball was at. Baseball was always a game you kind of followed, you didn't necessarily watch, and we all know those sayings, but it was noticeably slower.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, like, you didn't have pitchers who are out there huffing and puffing after a 25 pitch inning because they could actually step off the mound and take a breather.
Yeah. Tommy, why didn't you just say it was you, buddy? Like we didn't. It was T-Bone's Tommy.
Oh, geez. Yeah. When you guys change your YouTube channel or your YouTube names, we don't catch on.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, that was like on Patreon, we had friggin' what Dragon Slayer or whatever the hell John
yeah,
Temple was. It took us like half an hour to realize that was John.
yeah, I loved it.
John's like, "Hey guys, it's me," and we're like, "Oh yeah, we had no idea."
No, I do. So I have been watching classic games kind of this off season. This is the first off season that I've really like gone into YouTube and been like, I'm picking a random day, random time, two random teams, and seeing if I can find a full game. Now, I am rewatching the 1991 World Series, and it's incredible, right? Because I was 7 when that World Series happened. But that game is quick. Like the pitchers weren't lollygagging around the mound. Like Sid Bream never left the box in his at bats. Like the guys in the 90s, they never left the box. The pitchers got the ball, they got on the mound, they threw. Now, I don't know exactly when that started to change, like Nomar with the gloves and like not to pick on your boy, but like a lot of those like rituals at home plate then started lengthening the game and we're just like I don't know exactly when that changed, but
Yeah.
I don't think the pace of play was a huge issue in the 90s.
No, it was definitely slower, but it was not like brutal. And that's the thing, like I go back to, I think us diehard, more, intense fans, like that's the baseball we've always known and loved. Like you took a pitch, you stepped out, you got yourself set, you stepped in for the next one. We were used to a slower pace of play. The casual fan was never going to be able to sit through that game. Everybody said baseball's boring, it's too long, well, and they weren't wrong. But that was always the beauty of baseball. It's a timeless game. There is no clock. It's over when it's over. There's always a winner. And in a world where people can't watch for more than 30 seconds on their cell phone, you can't serve them up a 3.5 hour game anymore.
No.
Now an NFL game takes you three hours to finish, but you got 20,000 friggin' commercials and a halftime. The NFL, I don't watch the NFL anymore. It is so painful to watch football because it's nothing but stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
And like I went to a Patriots game a few years ago, and I've been offered tickets every year since. I won't go back. It was awful. It was awful to watch that game because it's literally just half the time they're just standing around doing friggin' nothing. and I can't watch it. I just can't watch the NFL anymore. It's nothing but stoppages and commercials. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
I think a lot of things too with baseball is how society has changed,
Oh yeah.
right? And if it's hard, what do? We quit. If it's hard, we quit. Baseball is a hard game.
Wicked hard.
It is hard to teach today's youth how to deal with adversity. A lot of our youth overall, I'm not saying everybody, it is hard to teach youth adversity. And that's all baseball teaches you, right? And it is hard to teach young kids that failing is okay. Failing helps you learn, failing helps you get better. So I think as society has kind of changed with that aspect, like kids aren't playing baseball because it's freaking hard.
It is. You fail 70% of the time and you're one of the best out there.
Yeah.
Like it is true. And it's always been that way. And that was what made it the greatest challenge. And I love the quote from Deion Sanders. All the sports I played, I loved baseball the most because it was the hardest.
Yeah.
Like it is such an incredibly difficult game. And the NFL, I just had to be fast and smart. If I could run and knew what was going to happen, I was fine. Baseball, it doesn't matter how fast I was or smart I was if I couldn't hit the damn ball because it's so
Right.
hard. And I love the fact that you've had some of these guys that have played both sports going, no, baseball was way harder. Like it's a different kind of hard. And it absolutely is not easy to get kids to be like, yeah, I want to go out there and get out 70% of the time.
Yeah.
Kids can't handle failure like that.
Yeah.
And it was always the tough kids that persevered and continued playing.
Yeah. My wife and I sat down and watched A League of Their Own last night. It was I just put it on Netflix. We watched it.
Classic.
And the line that like stuck with me at the end, I was like, this is perfect. It says, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great.
Yep.
And the hard is what makes it great, just like stuck in my head. And I was like, that's it.
Yep.
But people can't deal with hard anymore. They can't.
No.
I can find an easier way to do it, and baseball's not it.
Yeah. And that's why you're seeing them gravitate towards a lot of other sports. And you're seeing other sports that are becoming popular. Just because I think it's a matter it's I joke about pickleball. Tennis is hard. Pickleball is not hard. It's basically hitting a wiffle ball.
Right.
Way more approachable. And Tommy, you're totally right. Baseball's not the problem. It's how we've changed is the problem. But the hard part is if baseball does nothing and sticks their head in the sand, they become the NBA, where fans just stop watching. The NBA is trash and is declining at such a rapid pace because fans just don't want to watch it. It is unwatchable now. But if MLB doesn't adapt to where society's heading, baseball becomes irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And without the fans, without the ad revenue, like we don't enjoy the same baseball. So as much as I don't love all the changes they've made, I understand why they're making them, and I can appreciate the fact that it's clearly working because baseball is growing faster than any other league right now.
Yeah.
And that's great because we need that. We need baseball to remain, a growth-oriented sport that's going to be here long term because, the NHL damn near went bankrupt not that long ago. The NBA is in the absolute toilet and the NFL is king. And baseball's got to keep up.
I think we are starting to see the pendulum swing from baseball being an old guy sport as well. And
Yes.
the influx of young players coming up and making immediate impacts that we talk about on the show all the time. Like every team's got 3 or 4 guys that are MLB ready. They hit the ground running. They're superstars already, and they're 21. That is helping to bring in the younger audience, right? Having young guys available that are really freaking good. I think that's also helping. So as much as we sit here and complain about the rule changes, like you said, like I get it. I totally get it. You have to adapt to society without changing what the core of baseball is. And for the most part, I think they've done a great job doing that. Like, I mean, without them changing it to just like a strict home run derby for
Yeah.
162 games, I'm going to keep watching because that's how much I love baseball. But I think we are starting to see it become a little bit younger, like more younger kids are getting in front of the game, and maybe social media is helping that a little bit too, because you do see the highlight plays on Twitter or
Yeah.
X or what
Well, and
Instagram and all that stuff. So that helps.
and Shohei was a character in Fortnite. The
Right.
MLB has done some things to try to market certain players. I mean, not everybody, but certain players, certain demographics. They're using Otani in a lot of places. You're seeing Fernando Tatis start to pop up in advertisements targeted to certain demographics. Um, I do think you're going to continue to see MLB try to adapt there because you football, basketball was so big in the 90s and early 2000s because those guys were part of culture. Allen Iverson, Paul Pierce, Michael Jordan, those guys were cultural icons. They weren't sports icons. They were in the music scene, they were in the movie scene, they were pitching sneakers, they were very much part of everyday life.
Hmm.
Um, and the NFL began to go that direction. You had guys that were very much in the mainstream as well. MLB hasn't really had that type of player, and I think they're trying to find a way to create that type of player. Use some of these big personality guys, these guys that can draw in a crowd, and utilize that because you have to make baseball part of culture.
Yeah.
Baseball was part of culture for decades, and then just fell out.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah, as Tommy's saying, baseball was America at one point. It was culture. The only way to make baseball grow with that viral sense is to make it part of culture.
Yeah. Agree.
But so yeah, I mean, as much as we rag on baseball and Manfred, they've done some good things. I don't love all the changes they've made, but it's working. So as much as I don't like them, without them, this league looks a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
That was quite the sidebar there. I love it.
Yeah, that's why I love the end of the show sometimes.
That's what this part's all about. It's just
Yeah.
freewheeling.
Yeah. So,
And Tommy, just the last question before we go. I think football overtook baseball because football took over the cultural icon status the NBA had, and the NFL took that. But more importantly, gambling.
mm,
I wouldn't even follow the NFL if it wasn't for fantasy football. But I play in a fantasy league with a bunch of guys from college who played this forever. It wasn't for that, I would pay zero attention to the NFL, but it keeps my attention for that reason. And the fact that you can bet on literally friggin' everything, coin toss, possessions, I think you can bet now on the direction of the wind and the speed of it. It's gambling. The NFL was the first one to invite gambling right in and said, "Oh yeah, we're buddies." And that ultimately, I think, is what causes people to pay so much attention to football, is that it's a very easy sport to gamble on.
yeah.
And as much as we rail on gambling, MLB is starting to do the same thing. Like MLB is very much following what other leagues have done.
Yeah. I think baseball's treading some very dangerous waters there, but
Yes.
that's another topic for different
That's
night.
a loaded conversation. But that is very much why football has overtaken it. And Mike Reed, you're totally right. Once a week, it's a 1 day a week commitment. It's on every friggin' cable station. It's very easy to access. That's the one hurdle MLB has left is blackouts. They've got to solve that.
Yeah, and we have talked about that. It is next to impossible for the MLB. It is a impossible task for them to try to find 15 time slots every night, 162 plus times a summer. Right? Like the digital footprint that you have to put out there to get your games televised is astronomical.
It's a lot.
Right? With the NFL, you just got to find 16 3-hour spots for once a week.
Yeah, once a week. And now it's on Thursday, it's on Saturday nights right now, Sunday, Monday. They've
Right.
expanded the nights that it's on, but it's every team plays one game. Like it's really, really easy to plot it out.
Right. What the NFL does in 1 week, the MLB has to do every night. 162 times. Like
Yeah, one
that's
NFL game is the equivalent to 10 MLB games.
yeah,
It's a lot.
crazy. So I get it, but man,
Good stuff. I love these off-season discussions.
well,
We just like get
yeah.
into stuff.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, Jamie, and I know Premier League, Champions League, all that. I know soccer is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
I am not the right person to talk to about soccer. I just know that they run around for 90 minutes and don't score. But that's really I'm kidding. And I'm not taking anything away from soccer. Those
Are
guys are
you kidding though?
I don't know. I
I mean,
haven't watched soccer.
you couldn't pay me to watch soccer, but
No, but I get
mean,
it on a
those guys are unbelievably athletic, but I can't
oh,
do it.
I couldn't move constantly for 90 minutes at that pace. Are you kidding me? I
Oh,
would
hell no.
die.
I had
Like
cousins that played college soccer, and I'm like, you guys are basically track stars with a ball in front of you.
yeah, it's wild. And I understand, right? I mean like
Yeah.
It's soccer is the global sport.
Massive.
It's not even close. And I don't think any sport will rival that
No, it's so
ever.
approachable. You need a piece of grass and a ball. Yeah, you can play
Yeah.
that anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're with you there. Compared to the NFL, the NFL is tiny compared to
Oh yeah.
soccer.
Yeah, soccer is
Um,
outside of the US, soccer is everything. The
you
US has
couldn't
just never really taken.
you couldn't pay the rest of the world to watch American sports. So
Fair enough.
I mean, I agree with that. And I think that's where baseball is starting to push that a little bit. As much as baseball was founded here, there were many variations around the world of what baseball is.
Yep.
And it's so huge in the Caribbean. It's so huge in Japan that that's going to do nothing but help the spread.
Yep.
So like baseball is getting global, right? Is it soccer global? No, like I said, nothing will be soccer global at all.
Not for a long time.
No. But it is getting there. But like basketball, no. NFL, they're trying to get into Europe, but is there really some interest there? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
I don't
people
think.
come out for the games in London, but that's it?
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see those sports really take off over. I mean, Europe and the American sports are the American sports for a reason. It's the sports that we as Americans enjoy watching. Soccer has never taken off here because it's of no interest to this group of people. And then when you go overseas, it flips. Soccer's life over there. Baseball's kind of interesting. Football doesn't really exist so much. You've got basketball, but it's not great. It's kind of a perfect reversal, and it's nice. You've got the diversity of sports, and each culture picks its favorite. Soccer is
Yeah.
never going to be America's favorite,
No.
just like baseball is never going to be Europe's favorite.
Right.
There's still space for all of them. They just won't be the top one.
Yeah. Just look at the Great Britain WBC uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, and the team's terrible. Like, I love the fact that Great Britain put a baseball team in there because like they're showing there's an interest in baseball. But like they're never going to win. Like they're terrible.
Yeah. Now, listen, John, like there are pockets of soccer fans here. No
Oh,
doubt.
sure.
But does the MLS ever
No.
crack the top 4? Does it ever beat the NFL? Does it ever beat the NBA, NFL, or MLB? I don't know if they do. And I mean, you brought the best soccer player ever, right? And Lionel Messi over here, and it still didn't really move soccer up the chain here in America, anyways. Like, yeah, it was a big news story, but I don't. And maybe that's just because I don't follow soccer. I don't really know, but
I mean, to give
yeah.
you a sense of like where soccer is, the MLS, most of these teams, like the biggest teams in soccer, are making like a third of what the smallest MLB teams make in terms of revenue, and the league itself makes like not even 20% of what MLB makes. It's certainly a growing sport, but it's never going to be the top dog in the U.S. I mean, maybe it'll overtake the NBA because at some point the NBA might just go away the way it's going. But I just, MLS is always going to be kind of it's always going to be here. It's always going to have pockets of fans, but it's never going to be a major player, I don't think. Just like baseball and football, whenever be major players over in Europe, like there's very clear lines as to what the people want.
Yeah. And this is also a very great point, Curtis. Soccer is all they have in other countries, possibly too. So, like, they're not competing against anybody else. Like, soccer is it.
Well, and think about it too. Like you look at, think of countries like India. Like they don't have the money to go build a bunch of baseball facilities and put in batting cages and put baseball fields there. But a soccer ball, you can throw it in any dirt lot, grass lot, anywhere, and just pick up a game. It's Soccer is an incredibly inexpensive, very approachable game. It's the same reason that hockey is very hard to grow, because it's a very expensive sport to play.
Yeah.
And baseball's not cheap, but it's not as cheap as soccer, where it's literally a $10 ball and a piece of grass somewhere.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, and hockey parents aren't getting up at 3 a.m. to go get their kid on ice at 4 a.m. in the morning either.
Hockey's insane. Oh,
Yeah.
That's like a cult.
It's crazy.
But anyways, all right.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else, Harrison?
No, that was a good one. The open chat at the end is always my favorite part.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so keep your eye out on the page. I don't know if we're gonna come on. What is New Year's Day is on Thursday, right?
Yes.
All right, so we'll be on our regular time Thursday night, so we don't have to change the schedule there. So we'll be on Thursday night. I am really hoping to touch base with Drew Maggi again this week, and we'll have him on next Sunday to talk about his incredible career. I got to reach back out to him because I told him I'd touch base with him after the holiday. Pretty cool. And another thing I wanted to share with you guys, I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, but my brother-in-law suggested an all Sesame Street lineup. So I took the players, I superimposed like the Sesame Street heads on the players. And I had Bert Blyleven on the mound with, the Sesame Street Bert on his pitching motion. Bert Blyleven commented on our picture and he said, "I've never looked so good." It was so funny. But he commented on one of our posts. It was just like mind blowing to us. So I'm kind of trying to work that angle. It's been kind of radio silent, but I would love to get him on. That would be absolutely insane. But pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
we're working on it. Let's see if we can pull it off.
Yeah. So, again, before we go, guys, we appreciate you guys helping us through the off season, coming here every episode, talking baseball with us for 2.5 hours. I understand it's a crazy commitment, and you guys do it every week. Like, you guys are incredible. Absolutely love all the time we spend with you. The support is unreal. So I can't say thank you enough. Like, it really means more than you know. So really appreciate it. Keep the support going. And we'll be back on Thursday. Hopefully some news will start flying around here. And we'll cover it Thursday. If not, we'll just have kind of a free form show and some trivia and, call it a night and just wait for spring training and the WBC to get here. So
I know it's gonna be a good spring.
I can't wait. So
just got to get there.
Until Thursday, rest up. We'll see you guys then. Thanks a lot.